Hi, it's Valerie, and welcome to the Connection Coach Tune-Up. Today I wanted to speak about doing the work within relationship. For me, what I noticed is that growing up and being the black sheep of the family and not really fitting in with my family, I was used to being in environments where people weren't like me, where I was not really seen, heard, or I didn't feel respected. And so in that, what inevitably happened was that I went through life choosing, a majority of my life, choosing to be around the same kind of people that didn't really get me, didn't really see me, didn't really want to grow with me. And so what I ultimately started to do was I had this belief that I couldn't really be within relationships where we were doing the work together. And so oftentimes I found it was me in relationships I was doing the work because I love personal growth and it's definitely part of my values. And I was doing the work on my own, and I so badly wanted my partner to do it with me, so I would push or pull them along or drag them, or over time make them wrong because they weren't doing the work with me. And so this oftentimes left me feeling really unfulfilled and disappointed, and it also created such a wedge between me and my partner because he always felt really just not enough, and to constantly feel like you're not enough or you're disappointing somebody for who you are, it's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. And so what I started to realize is I started to see that I can actually do the work within relationship and meet people that are also on the same page with me, that share the same values. So I started to discover this first. It's almost like dipping my toe. I started to discover this first within my friendships. I started to surround myself with people that were also doing the work in life, that were also into personal growth, that were really what I call believing eyes in my life, who saw me and who I was in present time and where I wanted to go and respected that. And there was this beautiful symbiotic relationship that was occurring between us. And so then what happened over time is the more and more I got comfortable realizing that I'm worthy of these kind of connections and worthy of these relationships, and I started to develop this muscle of accepting those believing eyes in my life, I was able in turn to start inviting relationships in my life, intimate relationships with a man, and basically recognizing that hold on a second, like we can actually do this work together and this is fun, and it's I started to not be so afraid of it. And so what I realize around this is that so often a lot of us have these things in our lives, these character defects, right? That we consider ourselves bad for them. When really what we have an opportunity to do is we have an opportunity to see that our character defects are actually just where we're wounded and not where we're bad. And so sometimes what we do is we hide them. We don't want people to see them because we don't want to be judged. We don't want to be condemned for them, right? We even hide them from, God, the creator, the divine, whatever it is. We kind of just don't want to look at it. We don't want to bring light to it. But instead, where we recognize in one another too, it's almost like, we can have these external wounds, right? We might have like a scrape on our knee or whatever it is. And people can look at that and go, oh, I'm sorry, I feel for you, that's really sad. But when there are these internal character defects, oftentimes, not only are we so afraid of being judged, but then in turn, what we do frequently is we judge others. And so we hold back from what it is that we really want. And instead, when we start to open ourselves to people in our lives that also are on the same page, that share the same values, that really see the value in doing the work within relationships, because that's how they grow and expand and it's beautiful, that we can start to accept and go, you know what, I recognize that this is not where you're bad. It's where you're wounded. And together within this relationship, we can work on this and we can bring ourselves to a place of healing. And that is the beauty, to me, in my opinion, why we come together in relationship. So just give yourself some time to see the ways in which you might hold back or go into the old patterning of surrounding yourself with people that don't really see you or get you for who you are and where you want to go. Start to ask yourself the questions of how is that really serving me? Because it is in some way. It might be serving an old wound. Or what is it costing me? And that's a bigger one. What is it costing me physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, and so on and so forth, to constantly do that and start to open up and really look at what are my beliefs around relationships and growth within relationships, and give yourself some time to see where those beliefs came from. Oftentimes they're not your beliefs, and you get to recreate new beliefs in any moment. So give it a shot. And if you're interested and you want some support, I have a myriad of things to do to join in on. I'm offering something that we're launching on August 11th called Commit and Connect. And this is a 6-week teleclass course to really dive into 4 aspects of areas of our lives where we have relationships, or 5 aspects rather. And also I have an intensive coming up in October in Colorado called Breakthrough to Power and Freedom, where this is an immersion where we really drop into these different areas of relationships within our lives to start really peeling back the layers and seeing more of how we can live and thrive in our lives, and many other things. So check out ValerieD'Ambrosio.com. Email me if you have any questions. Definitely join our newsletter and sign up for the 30-day challenge. And I look forward to hearing from you. Take good care.